Hello, and welcome to Chapter 7, System Hacking. All right, so again, just as a reminder, you're going to take some notes and upload them as homework. All right, without any further ado, so let's continue. So we are now done with the first three phases, footprinting, scanning, and numeration. Now we can attack the system. So after you have completed the first three phases, now we can and gathered all the information that you need, you're ready to hack the system. Now, to hack into the system, you'll need to crack passwords, escalate your privileges, execute applications, hide files, covering your tracks, conceal evidence, and then push them into pushing into more involved attacks. So you want to even do more and more. So some example of cracking, here are some weak passwords. Please write all of that down because I want to make sure you know what weak passwords mean. And you can take that into heart and make sure you convey that to everyone that you know. Passwords are the easiest way. If I got your password, I don't have to do anything. I'm already, you gave me everything that I need to break into your device. So, weak passwords include the ones, having numbers, or just letters. Make sure you have all caps or lowercase. If you use proper names, dictionary words, short passwords, what we mean by short is anything less than 8 characters. I highly recommend that you use a passphrase, something like 15, minimum 15 characters, which includes uppercase, lowercase letters, and maybe some numbers. If you want to use some symbols to just make sure you don't make it too complicated that you can't remember what the password is. All right. So you can brute force passwords if you get the hashes, and we'll do that in one of our labs. Brute forcing means that you keep guessing until you get it right. You want to do this offline. Maybe you can use what's called the dictionary attacks. They can go through the dictionary within seconds sometimes. Excuse me, depending on how fast your system is. There are rule-based attacks and so on. Let me see what else we need to know. What's packet sniffing? So that's very important. Please write this down. Packet sniffing, which is really a protocol analyzer, it can capture passwords traversing the network. So how do you make sure that you protect against packet sniffers, protocol analyzers, such as Wireshark? You encrypt the data. So that's where man-in-the-middle comes in. Man-in-the-middle attack can be used to capture data. Utilities such as SSL stripping, burp sweep, which stands for Browser Exploitation Framework. That's the BEFFF. All of these can be used as a man-in-the-middle attack. These are software or devices that captures your data. Either if it's an SSL strip, it will strip the S from the HTTPS and try to log you in, but that's been protected against. We'll have a lab on that too. So man-in-the-middle attacks are commonly target vulnerable protocols and wireless, and that is true. And that's how we are going to do our lab. We're going to create a fake access point, and we'll set up a man-in-the-middle where you come in to the attacker's machine where SSL stripping will happen. It will strip your the S, and you'll be able to log in with your username and password in clear text. But that's been mitigated, so we don't have to worry about that for now. All right. You may use malware such as Trojan horses, spyware, keyloggers as well to capture passwords. Keyloggers is when you either could be a hardware or a software that capture all your keystrokes, and you can get passwords from there, of course. Right? You can use, if you have an administrative access, you may get hash passwords from the SAM, like I said to you earlier. Take them offline, and then we can go take these hashes and just take them to a website such as crackstation.net and to see if you can crack them. If they are weak, you can easily do that. And we'll do that in class. I can show it to you very quickly on how these, crash, you can crack a password very easily, just having the hash, right? What else? There are rainbow tables out there. I'll also show you down the road this semester. There is one place you can get over 1 trillion password in one packet. So if you really need to know somebody's password, their password probably is one of those 1 trillion passwords that are, you can download them. Linux has a whole bunch of word lists in there. I'll show it to you, but they're not as many. You can create your own word list. That what you think people use as passwords. That's why it's extremely important to use a passphrase and very long, something that nobody can think of except you when you are typing passwords. All right, Wintergen, I guess it's called, is a GUI-based generator. This can support hashing formats. In this utility, you can include all of the following: Cisco IPX. You can create hashes for any of these. Where are we here? Oh, we're down here. So if you want to create rainbow tables, you can create rainbow tables for all of these enhances. So all of these are different types of hash programs for passwords. And WinRT Generator will generate hashes for all of the passwords. So you can have all of these different passwords for you generated. So it doesn't matter how strong your password, how long, or what the type of hash algorithm, you'll be able to crack it. The only way to protect against it is to make sure that your that your password is long. Now, what typically is done, just before you use the hash, what you do is, a lot of hash programs, what they do is they have a random number that they generate and they attach it to your password. That's called salting. That makes it very difficult to guess, because not only they need to guess your password, but they need to figure out what that random number is, the salt. So it's easy to guess passwords that are not salted. Apples are famous for salting your hash, your passwords, so it makes it much more difficult to crack Apple passwords. What else do you need to know? So please write this down in terms of salting. Salting is a hash. Salting means adding an entropy or randomness in order to make a sequence or patterns more difficult to detect. All right. What else do you need to know? Default passwords are very, very important. Make sure that you eliminate that. That's extremely important. Any device that you purchase, make sure you know what the defaults are. Default guests, users, names, passwords. So if you don't know, you can go to any of these websites. Okay, please write these down. You can copy and paste them if you want. But these are the places that you go to find out what the defaults of your switches, routers, or any system that you purchase. You need to know. So you need to know also how to disable these defaults. You don't want to use them. All right. USB password theft. That's also important. I want you to write this down. This is probably a lot of people may either ignorant about or not familiar with, but a USB password theft is, this method entails embedding password stealing applications on a USB. Please write this down. And then physically plugging into the drive into the target. So all I have to do is bring in my USB. There is an exploit software on it. I pop it into your USB drive. It immediately will do its job by itself. Go and grab all the passwords that are stored on your system. By the way, Microsoft automatically stores your hash password, you like it or not. So you could have an exploit kit, purchase it or download it off the internet, and you'll be able to plug it in and it will capture all the data without you even doing anything. Those are the, you don't even have to be technical to be able to do that. All right. What else do you need to know? Don't use Windows XP or any earlier version. That's very important. Like I said, even Windows 7, I don't recommend. They are all vulnerable. They use very weak NTLM, the new technology, LAN manager to hash the password. Well, Microsoft still uses NTLM. NTLM, they have their own hashing, and they all use the message digest number for together, and they make up their own. Microsoft make up their own hash algorithm called NTLM. Horizontal privileges is when you steal someone else's privileges to have access. Vertical is when you get in. Vertical privileges is when you get in and you escalate your privileges. You go, you give yourself more privileges than you deserve, of course. We're going to be able to do that. You have privilege, vertical privileges. We're going to hack into a system, and then we are going to escalate our privileges and give ourselves administrative access. Okay? And you probably want to set what's called backdoors. So write this down. Backdoor applications are designed to compromise a system in such a way to allow us for later access to take place. So an attacker can use these backdoors later to attack a system, and backdoors can come in the form of rootkits, Trojans, and they can even include software in the form of remote access Trojans. They call them rats. Keyloggers are hardware or software, like I mentioned earlier, software devices that you use to gain information via the keyboard. This is something that you should be aware of. So make sure you never, ever, ever access public PCs. At least not access any of your, your banks or your credit card companies. You not using someone else's machine, because you don't know what they have on there. So when you are accessing any of your financial institution or credit card companies or anything like that, you want to make sure you are using your own device and never ever connect to an open free network ever. And you'll learn more about that during the semester as we move on. I'll remind you of all of this. All right. To plant a backdoor, you can use the PS Tools suite. That can help you do that. Other utilities, you can use PDQ, Deploy, Remote Exec, Damware, and Netcat. Covering your tracks. So this is important. I want you to write this down. There are 3 points I want you to do to make sure when you get in, you want to cover your tracks, of course. So here's number 1. Disable auditing. Okay, you want to make sure that when they go to event viewer on your computer or to the log server, syslog server, they don't see that you were there. All right, so one of the first things you do, as soon as you get in, as soon as you hack into the network, you disable auditing. Hide the exe files, scripts, or any other data that you are downloading. Don't just leave them on the desktop or in a place where it can easily be seen. Okay, you may have to rename them into something similar to what's on the system. Delete your tracks using rootkits. Okay, that's very important. You want to get rid of any, you can do that by if you did your thing and you got everything that you want, delete everything to make sure that you're not even there if they ever need to do chain of custody. All right, so that's it for this chapter. And take all the notes and upload them as homework, and I'll see you on the next chapter.